Not many of you will have reached this eighth episode. This series is not for everyone, and those that have come this far are precisely the individuals who should be here. Something about this message rings true. It speaks to a part of you that sees itself in these words. The higher self, the true self, the divine one calls to itself, and you have answered. This eighth episode is a turning point. The balance of these videos are rather to the point, and the pace quickens. The last episodes were a prelude to the real meat and potatoes of the I Am message, which begins here. I could have included my own personal experiences with I Am That I Am, or related many testimonials from people who have found this message and in the process have found themselves. What is important is not where I am on my path and how I got here, but where you are on yours. A little personal background might help you to understand why it is better for you to walk the path of personal evolution yourself instead of having someone tell you about it. My father was a big reader of self-help, spiritual enlightenment, self-actualization, and books along those lines. I'm really grateful to my dad for instilling in me the love of reading. Not just self-help stuff, but everything. The love of reading and learning was one of his greatest gifts to me and my brother. There were wonderfully inspiring stories and first-hand accounts of people who developed amazing powers and skills to reach their goals using one method or another. There was a series of 6 books that I enjoyed tremendously called The Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East by Baird T. Spalding. There was another called Message of a Master by John McDonald. I read many wonderful books in those days, and they served me well on my journey. But these 2 authors in particular really captured my imagination in a powerful way. Here's the problem I ran into, and it is the reason you won't find testimonial stories in this particular series. While I always wanted to believe that the people in these books really existed, and that they had discovered the ancient keys of power, I was also plagued with doubt. I remember poring over these wonderful stories, savoring every word, but the question I could never escape was this: what if these stories and the people in them were exaggerated, or even worse, what if my favorite characters were a total fiction created by a clever author? I later learned that the author of my favorite series of books, Baird T. Spalding, had a reputation for shamelessly embellishing the facts. Still, what I read in his books had a curious ring of truth to it, despite discovering that he may have woven truth into a fictional story and claimed it to be a factual account of his experiences. I finally decided that there was no way I could ever be 100% sure if what I read was fact or fiction, or if it was a mix of the two, or where truth left off and fairy tale began. It eventually dawned on me that there was only one way to be sure that the spiritual realm and the wondrous powers people were said to have in those books were real. The only way for me to be sure was to develop some of these powers myself and use them firsthand. Then and only then could I be sure that what I had read was not bogus. This is the reason why several times in this series you've been encouraged to try these teachings for yourself and prove them to yourself. Then you will truly know that what I teach you is not only partly true, but completely true and 100% accurate. From now until the end of this series, I will relate the teachings and messages to you faithfully and truthfully, but I offer no proof, neither do I ask you to believe me. It is suggested that you dwell upon these concepts until they begin to make sense to you. In due course, you may even wonder how something so fundamentally true escaped your notice for all these years. If you want proof of my words, you shall have it. Once you accept what is being told and you put it into practice in your own life. Well, I think our prelude is over. Let us begin at the beginning. In all reality, there is but one being, one consciousness, one awareness. There is no other. There is but one who can declare, I am. That being is the one listening to this program. That being is the one speaking this program. Although your senses report to your brain that there are many other individuals in the world, this is a false notion. In actual truth, the world, everyone, and everything in it is a projection of the I am to create a fascinating theatrical drama wherein many apparently separate and distinct characters play their parts. The real truth is that you are the only being in existence. This statement does not suggest an egotistical interpretation, as if you, the listener, are superior to anyone else. Rather, it simply states the unalterable truth that there is nobody else to be superior to. There is only the eternal being that declares, I am. So, where do we go from here? When once you become aware of your true nature and begin to create from the awareness of I am, then manifesting what you desire becomes a case of moving within the self, using the only creative power there is. Instead of reaching beyond to a fictional sense-based outside world, you will effect changes and new manifestations moving from the source and center of creation. You will go from a struggle and strain approach to changing your environment to a method that flows smoothly and is certain to achieve whatever it is you declare to be so. Does this strike a chord within you? Do you have an inner sense that truth is to be found somewhere in this direction? In the final 2 episodes of this series, I will take you step by step into the time-tested, time-proven ways of working from your core, your source, the awareness, the consciousness of I am that I am. Until next time, this is Q, wishing you wealth, health, and happiness.